Greetings and salutations, one and all. Welcome to the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. How you doing? Kicking off a brand new week right here on the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. I want to say big ups to each and every one of you locked in right now. Those of you from near, those of you from far, those tuned in on One Harmony Radio to the UK. Top of the morning to you guys over there in the UK, across the water. Big ups to those who are listening in on WGLRO, home of the Donnie Walker Morning Show, taking you from the sheets to the streets on the People Station, touching from Detroit to Denmark and all points in between. I want to say big ups to those who are locked in on PEMGTV.com. Glad to have you, couldn't do it without you. And of course, right here at the home of the night shift, the DJ Kevin Stew, KevinStew.com. Glad to have you. Couldn't do it without you, and you have my word, I would not even try.
Sweet shells.
Kicking it off with a little Shelly Sweet Shells. Calling all the neighbors, come on over, let's pay each other a visit.
He telling me load on music, he telling me that's it right. The neighborhood quiet as ever, no problems to sleep at night. I tell him I love me so good. Like a true love, bring your body, come on out here. Move your body just like you don't care. We jamming it so sweet. Feel the rhythm, feel the heat. Bring your waist from walk to the soca. All our ways just jam together. I tell them it's so sweet. Feel the rhythm, feel the heat. Bring your waist from walk to the soca. All our ways just jam together. I tell them it's so nice. Change your mind and don't think twice. I tell them it's so nice. He moving you around, sing it so loud and loud. It's my neighbor, no control. He said he just can't do that. He never hear music, so I tell him that's how we do it. Bring up what's on there, let's ride. It's a love effect in all night. Come join and feel the vibe. I tell him just come over, enjoy yourself, no pressure. We jamming it so sweet. Feel the rhythm, feel the heat. Bring your waist, come walk to the soca. All of we just jam together. I tell him it's so nice. Change your mind and don't think twice. I tell him it's so nice. He moving the whole crowd, singing soca loud and loud. It's my neighbor, no control. The music pumping big time, and woman taking small wine. Oh yeah, we in the street wet. We jamming, enjoying the fun. Something say look in the corner. It's my neighbor, he come over. He hand in the air, he jamming. On a bumper, it says moving. He moving the whole crowd, singing soca loud and loud. It's my neighbor, no control. What went on, I don't know. He moving the whole crowd, singing soca loud and loud. It's my neighbor, no control. We jamming it so sweet. Feel the rhythm, feel the heat. Bring your waist from walk to the soca. All of we just jam together. I tell them it's so sweet. Feel the rhythm, feel the heat.
I want to say big ups to Pulse Media Group. Thank you for sponsoring this segment of the show. When being in the moment is priceless, just give them a call. 754-999-6020. What can they do for you? Everything you see right here on KevinStew.com. And so much more. They can host your station, host your websites. They can create your website. Provide you with streaming services on a secure network just for you. You are in full control.
We jamming it so sweet. Feel the rhythm, feel the heat. Bring your waist from walk to the soca. All of we just jam together.
I want to say big ups to Althea and her Healing Heavenly Hands. Thank you very much. She takes care of the second segment of the show.
Jam together.
Althea is a licensed massage therapist. She comes to you, operating out of Broward County, North Miami-Dade, and South Palm Beach counties.
We jamming it so sweet. Feel the rhythm.
All she requires is that you get off her table when she's done. Outside of paying her, of course. You can go sleep somewhere else.
So sweet.
Give her a call, 954-655-9000, or email her at theolater@att.net.
I tell them it's so nice.
Thanks also to Reggae Global Entertainment. They can be your booking agents, take care of your business registrations, your trademarks, your copyrights, your music production, and so much more. Marketing and promotions, they knock that out the park. Give them a call, 954-998-8034, or visit them at reggaeglobalentertainment.com. And big ups to GMAT Music Solutions, who normally handles our musical therapy. Give them a call, 754-307-GMAC. They bring your event to life, providing sound, light, and stage production services, musical equipment, PA systems, audio engineers, DJs, bands, musicians, singers, and so much more. You can also visit them on gmatmusicsolutions.com. In fact, you can do your shopping there. Check them out. Not just for your regular musical equipment, but just for anything at all. Check it out, you'll see what I'm talking about. So big ups to those who are locked in the stew pot. Big ups to Marlon. Marlon Burrell, the reggae music edutainer extraordinaire. Host of Real Rockers, happens 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, Mondays and Wednesdays. Yes, the warm up to the night shift. Follow him on social media, Real Rockers. And everybody else in the stew pot, welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's see, I wonder if my neighbor is on the line. Hello? Hello, neighbor? Can you hear me? Is that a yes? Hello? Mortimer, you there?
Hello?
Ah, there he is.
I'm here.
There's my neighbor. Yeah, when I say my neighbor, it's my neighbor, you know, on this little community here called the United States. He's my neighbor. He lives around the corner, down the bend. No, it's actually around the bend, down past the corner. And yeah, make that left turn by the blue house with a big tree.
Yeah.
And then you get to him. Ladies and gentlemen, hailing from the West Coast, not the West Coast of Florida, but the West Coast of the United States, Mr. Mortimer Jones. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the night shift, sir.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Glad to have you, man.
Yo. How's it going, sir?
Well, you know, I can't complain. It's another day and another night shift, another community and finance. This is where we kick off the night shift week. So it's always good to start the week off on a positive note. You know, it's been a lot of stuff in the news lately. A lot of stressful information. And if you don't absorb it the right way, you know, it can affect you negatively. But tonight we get the opportunity to look at what is going on in the community through another lens. And that is through the service lens. You are executive director of the Salvation Army Siemon Family Youth and Community Center in South Central LA. Correct?
Yep, that's me. Well, I pretend to be the director.
You pretend, at least pretend to be, well, on formal occasions, they put you there in that position.
Yeah.
You know, everybody and everywhere, they need to have some sort of face.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
Just put papers out on the desk.
Yeah.
And let it look like you know what you're doing, and then smile and nod.
Yes. The ultimate smile and nod. You can't go wrong with that.
You can't go wrong. No.
Your face is not the kind of face that people would often attribute to executive director when they hear something like that. Your face, your voice, the accent, these things don't normally go along with those positions as people would assume. Well, some of us know different and know that a lot of us from the Caribbean and hold very prestigious positions in various organizations. And
That's true.
this one being no different.
Yeah,
You have
that's
held
true.
this
Well,
position for how long now? Go ahead.
I've held this position for 17 years. Started in
17 years.
2003 in this position. Yes.
Jeez, boy, that's a long time.
You better believe it. It doesn't feel that way though. I mean, it's not when you're busy. You don't really have time counting, how many years it is. It really doesn't feel like 17 years,
But you're only
but it
pretending,
really,
so.
and that really helps. Yeah. See, that's the problem right there. That's exactly why it doesn't feel like 17.
Right,
Nah,
because,
you have a good team around you, man. You have a good team around you.
yeah.
It really makes things different, So, um, there are tough days, of
Hmm.
course. Uh, we have a solid team. You can, everything becomes much easier.
Right. Um, I just had a question and it just went out of my head. What do you do at what's done at the community center?
Woo!
Somebody in the
What have
stew
I
pot.
done?
Okay, no, no, not what you have done. We haven't gotten there
Oh,
yet.
okay, okay.
What is done at the community center? What does the
Okay.
community center offer? And I want to also extend an invitation to those tuning in right now to jump into the stew pot. Other places they call it a chat room. We're very fancy over here on kevinstew.com. So just go to kevinstew.com and boom, you're there. You can remain anonymous. You can change your name like Marlon did, and like I do, and or you can remain anonymous as if you wish. It's a judgment-free zone. It is where we keep things interactive. Come on in. The water is always fine. It's where we keep things bubbling. It's the stew pot. All right, jump in. Sorry. Back to you, Mortimer.
Well, what do we do there? The Salvation Army is, this is if you talk about being strategic in this particular location. I mean, this is strategic. We are located on South Central Avenue,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, I'm sure you've heard of South Central in Los Angeles. Our
Everybody
address,
know about South Central.
yeah, exactly, and our address is South Central Avenue.
Yes.
And we are literally on a gang line between the Bloods and the Crips. So literally on the gang line. If we cross the street, you're in a different gang area. Simple as that. Um, and we have a multifaceted community center.
Mm-hmm.
We have a state licensed preschool program. We start as young as 2.5 years old and go up to 5 years old. These are all credentialed teachers that are preparing kids for elementary school.
Mm.
This is a curriculum based. It's not daycare. It's literally where we're teaching kids.
Right.
We have a after school program. So
Mm-hmm.
we work with kids after school in terms of tutoring and homework help, and then some arts and crafts and sports. But in addition to those things, what we do is that we also offer additional programs to the center and to the community. So we have a state-of-the-art computer lab, and we have coding classes. So we teach kids coding and this is Monday through Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So coding classes available to a community. We're talking about a very low income community where we believe that if you can give the tools to each kid or to adult, that
Yeah.
just helps them to become better citizens. We have a state of the art dance studio. We've offered from ballet classes to hip hop classes, modern dance um, classes. We have karate classes of all ages. Where we don't do karate classes by ages, we actually do it based on skill set. So we have from intermediate, beginners, intermediate, and advanced classes. We have seen
Mm.
our kids have won multiple awards from competitions. We have a full gymnasium. That gym is busy nonstop. That basketball court is just extremely busy. We've had leagues of all ages, high school, middle school, adult leagues. We've had leagues that have been sponsored by 2K, NBA 2K, and
Mm-hmm.
Xbox.
Yeah.
Um, you know, we have a fitness center that was recently renovated by Planet Fitness. That again is something
Nice.
that is high demand. Every morning, extremely busy into the evenings, very busy. Um, One of the things that we figured really quickly that we could not do this by ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So the model that is used is that if you can bring more and more people in and work alongside you, then the sky's the limit.
Right.
There's no mountain we can't climb. So even though the Salvation Army is there, we are collaborating with multiple organizations. One of our closest being the LA Clippers. We work extremely close with the Clippers. They've done significant amount of programs there at the center for their community. Um,
Sweet.
you know, uh, yeah, and then I almost forgot that we have emergency assistance. So we're talking about if you're misplaced throughout the day and you have no way to spend the night, we'll give you motel vouchers for somewhere to spend the night so you can have somewhere to rest your head. Emergency food for anyone that we will help with. We even have bus passes that we will assist with. We'll assist you with if your gas bill or your electric bill, if your lights about to be cut off, we will assist you in bringing that to get that bill paid.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with your gas bill. Um, so there is so much that we're doing. There's some things that we're doing, yes. So there's something that we are doing to kind of get people look at it as being a hands out, like helping you with your electrical bill.
Yeah.
But we're doing 3 times as much in terms of a hands up so that we can enhance the quality of life in the future. We don't
Right.
expect that someone will depend on us all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Our plan is to give you the tools so that you no longer need us.
Right.
If you continue to need us on a steady basis, then we are doing something wrong. Now there are cases where people need us longer than others,
Yeah.
and we will help. But the idea is that we will give you the tools so that you can actually move forward and no longer depend on the Salvation Army services.
So instead of giving a man a fish to feed them for a day, you're teaching them to fish so that they can feed themselves for life.
Yeah, I'm teaching him to fish
Yeah.
on a canoe boat, but I expect by the time he's done, he's using a yacht.
Ah. So now that's what we're talking about. That's how you build communities right there. Equipping people with the tools that they need. Now, there was a question in the stew pot. What's the maximum age for the hip hop dance class? Like somebody want to come and do your hip hop dance class.
Maximum age? No such thing.
Have you tried the class?
No such thing. You just join the class.
Have you tried the class?
No. If I've tried a class?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. um, I I believe that the only day that I will be accepted in that class is on April 1st.
I'd love to see you in that
April 1st.
class. I'd love to
That
see you in
might be
that
the
class.
only time the instructor might allow me in that class.
No,
Nah, I'm not brave enough. Listen, I'll tell you one thing.
yeah.
We have extremely talented young people in that community. Extremely talented. I always say, man, if we can if our kids just will have the opportunities available to them, I can guarantee you this world will be totally different.
Mm,
There is so much talent out there that no one has no idea that is there because of a lack of opportunity.
right.
So they don't really need me in that class. They just don't really need me.
I just think it would be really funny to see you in that class.
Well, I'm pretty sure you'll find it funny.
Now,
I'm pretty sure you will find it funny.
this is a facility that I have visited, and those that are regulars here on the night shift would hear me talk to people from various organizations and facilities and have heard me say that I want to go visit, I want to go visit. This is one facility that I have visited, and this had to have been 15 years ago, about
Hmm.
15,
I think we've been there
16.
about 17 years.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think you came about 20 years ago.
thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, about 15 years ago.
Right, so somewhere around there, 15, 16 years ago. And I remember the facility just being amazing. And walking through, back then it had an actual dark room. I remember that for photography, developing
Hmm.
photos. So you had the ability to actually teach kids how to take pictures using film, a lost art, but and to develop those films.
Hmm.
And I remember the little game room with the pool table, and I remembered
Right, right.
um, a startup computer lab. I remember that.
Yeah, our computer lab has about 21, 22 stations.
Yeah,
Some are Macs, some are PCs. And it was actually donated to us by Chris Paul.
really
So
sweet,
CP3
nice,
donated our computer lab. Yeah.
nice. You see, it's really good when you have a program and you're giving back, but it's that much better when you get the support of those in the community that can give that support that you need. It makes a difference. Now, so you mentioned some of the successes coming through the center. Um,
Mhm.
you guys have anybody that made it big yet? Well, in their field, whatever field it has been.
We've seen people who have done very well. I mean, the first person I can think of, I'm not going to call his name, but
Mm-hmm.
he came to the center as a middle school. He was in middle school, and my program director at the time, invited him to come by. He didn't want to come, so he actually lured him there by saying, "Hey, if you come, we will buy you lunch."
Mm.
And I mean, so you say that to any 12-year-old kid, boy, and
Yeah.
they're going to show up. So, he came. He was kind of tall and slender. They tried to get him into basketball. He was not interested. And slowly they got him on the court, you know, bouncing the ball around every day. He would get a meal, and we would help him with his homework. And we got him onto a middle school basketball team at the center.
Yeah.
And he ended up playing high school basketball, varsity.
Mm.
went to college on a basketball scholarship, went to
Nice.
LMU on a basketball scholarship, and has done quite well. Got his bachelor's in economics, and LMU actually offered to pay his tuition if he would go back and do his master's in law.
In law.
So I'm telling you about a young man who came to the center. When he came, his older brother and his dad were both in prison. And
Wow.
his mom was fighting, she was struggling with drug abuse. And, you know, statistics on all the people who think they know what they're saying,
Mm-hmm.
they would have said, he is the perfect example of that. They will point at him and go, okay, he's going to be a gangbanger. He's
Right.
going to be on the streets. And he's proven everyone wrong. But what happens in between that is that when you have organizations that can come in and bridge that gap and stop it before it happens,
Mm-hmm.
and we become big brother and uncle and dad and become that stable family that he couldn't get from his biological family,
Right.
then anything is possible.
That is awesome. Now that is a success story. That and again, this is how we build our community. You know, they say, well, we grew up with the saying that it takes a village to raise a child, and we grew up experiencing that village.
Yes.
You know, and that leads me now to the other part of it. You know, what got you? Why are you the executive director of a facility like this? How did you end up there? You know what? Pause on that question. You before you go there, before we get to you, let's talk a little bit more about the center. You mentioned the location,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody in the stew pot said, "Boy, you know, God bless you, because you're talking about some dangerous parts of the community
Mm-hmm.
and praying for your protection." But you said the center is smack dab in the on the border of the
Mm-hmm.
Crips and the Bloods.
Yep. And then you have to, yeah, so we're in the border of these two established gangs,
Right.
yes, but we also are mixed, and you have to mix in the Forensials, which is a Latino gang, and MS-13. They're also mixed into that pot. So the truth is, in 2020,
Mm-hmm.
the Bloods and the Crips, yeah, they're there, but uh, Forensials and MS-13 are just as big or bigger. MS-13 is definitely bigger, and they're there too. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Yeah, so we're right there. Sorry for interrupting you.
Oh no. It's your show. It's all right. Not a problem. But so when you look at all these gangs around, how does the center remain busy? You know, how is it? Don't you have incidents at the center?
17 years, zero incidents.
What is the center like? What I call it, which apart from, well, it's neutral territory, I guess.
It definitely
But
is. It's neutral territory. A matter of fact, the LA Times some years ago did a piece on it. Did about a 2.5 page piece on on that particular center and why it wasn't being tagged like other places. But I gotta say this though. I really gotta say this.
yeah,
Yes, it is South Central, but what a lot of, I mean, and TV and movies have made it out to be, you know, a whole different thing. You know, I'm a 5 minute drive away from what? I'm a 7 minute drive away from that movie that Denzel Washington is in, this film. I can't remember what it's called.
what training day?
But Training Day.
Yeah,
Yeah. You know, Training Day was filmed in Nicholson Gardens, which is the projects.
yeah,
and it's all in that vicinity. But I got to say this: 99% of the people that live in South Central LA today it is actually called South LA. It is no longer called South Central.
Mm.
In South LA are honest, hard-working individuals that are just trying to make ends meet.
Mm.
Unfortunately, the 1% makes the news.
Right, as
So I'm going to say
always.
this: 17 years, not once to this day, I've ever heard a gunshot. I've
Boy,
never heard a gunshot since I've been there.
that's
We've
better
never
than
had an incident.
that's better than my whole life in Jamaica. In fact, that's better than the time the 2 years that I've lived in this house in the house that I live in now.
Hmm.
That is a better record than I have in
Yeah.
my in my house in Fort Lauderdale right now. Because up to last week or the week before, I heard some gunshots out in the distance. So I don't know what happened. I don't know if anybody got hurt. I don't know. What I'm saying, for a place that is
It might have
labeled,
been firecrackers.
no, I can tell the difference.
Yeah.
You
You
know,
might
so
know that.
for that to be in a place as that was given the label that has the label that it has, and that the stigma
Hmm.
that's associated with it, and you
Hmm.
have never even heard one gunshot, let alone to have an incident inside the facility with, because you're talking about all these different gangs gathering in this one location.
Yeah, we have different gang members playing on the same basketball team. I mean, they're high fiving each other and cracking jokes in the bleachers. That's something that happens every night. It hasn't been happening recently because we had to close the gym for since COVID-19. But
Right.
yeah, that kind of camaraderie. Listen, most gang members do not necessarily want to be in a gang. You know, different situations that cause them to be involved
Mm-hmm.
in the gang life. Some are put on a gang. Some is because of the neighborhood you live in. You kind of put on the block that you're on. There
Right.
are various things that, you end up being there. And frankly, many of it, comes from having an unstable home. If you have someone that is going to pay attention to you
Right.
and give you the attention that that you've been seeking for so long,
Mm-hmm.
and that gang leader, that gang member can get you on the gang really easy. But those individuals still want to be kids. They still
Yeah.
want to be kids. They
Yeah.
still want to be 15. They want to be 16. So when they have an opportunity where they can do that. And the other thing is this: you show them respect, and you will get respect.
Mm-hmm.
And I do not see any of those when they were there. I don't see them as gang members. To me, are kids coming in and having fun. When adults come in, there's adults coming in to spend time. My community center is not necessarily just a place where there is just we providing services. No, we want everyone who walks in to have an experience. When
Mm-hmm.
someone goes to Disneyland, it's an experience.
Yeah.
Someone walks in, it should be an experience. They should walk in that front door, and the first person they meet should greet them in a way where you're almost welcoming them back home. You
Mm.
know, it has to be an experience. It has to be where I tell you, we have staff, including myself. We take vacation and come back, and those kids will ask us, "Where were we? We missed a day. We took a day off, and we have to
Not even a
we,
full
we
vacation,
have
but
to
a day.
explain a day, and we have to explain why we weren't there the day before. Because we've created that environment. We've
Right.
created an environment.
Right. Right.
So it is not. I do not want to be a part. of your run-of-the-mill center where you just have like a rec center with stuff that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be more like the bar in Cheers where everybody knows your name.
Right,
You
right.
know, that kind of feel. That's what I'm looking for. Because in many cases, especially your younger kids, they don't have that at home. Mom and dad working 2 jobs, working 3 jobs. It's just stuff. It's not that they don't want to be home.
Mm-hmm.
It is just that they have to work, put in the extra hours to
Just to make
handle the
ends
bills
meet.
at home. Right. And that's where we come in. We fill in that gap by being there to help with homework, by being there to celebrate that birthday, by being there when, they have someone they need to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we come in. So it's hard to really know everyone's name, but we still try our best we're in that respect.
Well, I'm pretty sure you're servicing a whole lot more people than I did when I worked at the community center in Palm Beach. And I from my experience, I can definitely relate to what is going on there in your center. Um, but it's always better when somebody else tells the story. Now, you mentioned, and I'm gonna come back to how you end up there for you to
Hmm.
kind of walk us through your a little bit of who Mortimer Jones is, so that people can
Oh,
understand the connection that ends up being formed when you're a part of a facility like this. Because, you know, what you envision as the leader of the team then gets passed on through the team and then out to who the team services. So,
hmm.
in essence, that good team that you mentioned at the beginning is an extension of you. So if they're messing up, you're messing up. If they're doing good, you're doing good. So we'll come back
Yeah.
around to you after looking at what you mentioned earlier with the closing of the gym due to COVID. Now, with being a service to the community, what have you guys been doing as it relates to services with COVID-19?
Well, well, when the governor of California announced that, you know, they put in place a stay-at-home, safer-at-home law,
Mm-hmm.
that was about 11 or 12 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That same day, the Salvation Army um, put in place, put all Salvation Army locations on the emergency mode. So we literally discontinued everything and went into emergency mode. At my particular center, our main focus was on helping families with food. If you think about it, the low income neighborhoods, the first people to lose their job,
Mm-hmm.
my community, my
Yeah.
community.
Yeah.
So we wanted to at least be able to help with food. Um, we've assisted with, from fresh produce, um, fruits, veggies, canned goods, your basic staples, bread, rice, um, pasta,
You pretty
meat
much run
kind,
a little supermarket, a little mini mart,
a full grocery store,
full
a
grocery
full
store,
grocery
meat and
store,
all.
full grocery. Oh yeah, from chicken, pasta, deli meats, pork, beef, seafood, fish. We we really did. In addition to that, we diapers for babies, adult diapers. 3 weeks, 2 weeks ago now, we started pet foods. We've done cat food, dog food, treats for your pets.
Mm.
We've literally done it all. We have, since we started, we have given away averaging, when I average it out, about 36,000 grocery bags
Yeah, I just showed up
over the
showed a
past.
little picture of someone doing a little bit of grocery bag packing, and some boxes laid out for those who are watching on kevinstew.com. For those who are not watching, you can go back and check the archives tomorrow, and you can see it, or you can visit their social media pages, and I'll have Mortimer tell you those in a little bit. But yeah, it looked like you had a little thing going on here.
Yeah, well, we didn't have, we still
Well,
do, because we're
you
still going.
have, yeah, present
Yeah, we
tense.
have. We're still there doing it. I mean, we have to obviously now watch to see things have started to reopen.
Mm-hmm.
So we will do it as long as the community needs
Right.
that service to be on that scale. But as of right now, we still are. We still have trucks delivering stuff. Today alone, we had uh, about 16 pallets of stuff that came in. Some days we just have a wide variety of foods coming in. Some are already pre-packed, and some we have to pack. So literally, I have teachers, gym instructors, and everyone has totally morphed into warehouse managers and
And
packers.
and you, I have a
Yeah,
picture up
me.
right
Oh yeah.
now where you are unloading a box and loading. I mean, unloading a truck and loading stuff onto a flatbed.
That's what social media does. Oh my gosh, I gotta be
Yeah,
careful.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, everyone. I mean, no. So wait,
You know,
let me just make this quick.
I
So when I
no,
when I describe any of this stuff, that includes me.
but
I have a title. That's about it. There's nothing that my staff will do that I will not do.
and that's just it. That's one of the reasons why I made sure to share that picture also, because you are very involved in what happens at that community center, including the unloading of things from trucks, of goods, especially in this time. This wasn't that long ago. This was just a couple of weeks ago, because I do follow the center. It's one of the pages that I follow on social media. The Siemon family center, and I saw this picture, and I was like, "Yep, that's it right there." So you're not just the guy that on those formal occasions that wear the suits to go and represent, but you're rolling up your sleeve and getting stuff done also, which is quite commendable, and it's what a lot of organizations need of their team leaders. So big ups
Yeah,
to you.
leading by example. And it wouldn't be me to sit in an office, in all fairness, and watch my team work so hard, especially in a time like that. I mean, you got to remember that, my staff came to work and they're coming to work every day, leaving kids at home who are home from school. They're even concerned. I mean, you got to remember that we have clients who are now coming into the building that are possibly infected by the virus. There's
Yeah.
a risk to even the staff. There is no way I'm going to sit in my office and have my team out there doing all of that with the risk that you know, they're putting themselves and their family lives and health at risk.
Hmm.
There's no way I'm sitting in my office and have that happen. I have to be with my team. It's
Which
just the
which
right thing to do.
which now takes me back to that part that I kind of pushed back a little bit. What makes you this way? How did you end up being this way? Why would you want to be a part of an organization like this, doing this job? Tell us a little bit about who Mortimer is.
How long do you have here?
You have
Where
at
do I
least
start?
another
Where do
hour.
I start, Kevin?
You have at
Where do I start?
least
Where do I start? Where do I start?
Pick a country.
Well, I pick a country. You're right. I have a United Nations accent, as you can. It's
Right.
kind of mixed up and confusing, and um. So let me see. So my parents were, well, my mom is now retired. My
Mm-hmm.
dad is deceased. Were Salvation Army officers. They were Salvation Army pastors, and their last and one of their positions was actually they were in charge of the Salvation Army in Guyana.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, that was their last appointment before they were transferred. So while they were in Guyana, I was born in Guyana. I have a sister that was born in St. Kitts,
Mm-hmm.
and my other brother and sister were born in Guyana. So at the age of 10, we moved to Jamaica because my parents were transferred to Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
So I, for the most part, grew up in Jamaica. Um, my parents were the assistant training principals for the Salvation Army College, where they train
School for pastors training.
individuals to be pastors. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so yes, I kind of grew up in the Salvation Army. So my mother and father literally gave everything. You know, I see one of the things I was lucky. I've seen my dad give the shirt off his back. People use
Mm-hmm.
that term lightly.
Yeah.
I've seen it literally.
Right.
Literally, they've just given. They've literally given. They've given of themselves, just nonstop. So you kind of get to the point where that's all you know. You know that's. I have my own plans. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going in finance.
Right.
My thing is my thing is business. And for a while, just fast forwarding, that's what I did. I worked in an audit firm. My background was in business. Um, and at some point during that period of time, I ended up working for the Salvation Army in the finance department. Um, actually started at the finance department as a accounting clerk, payables.
Mm.
And then started, what did I do after that? Yeah, I came in as that. And then I actually started to do accounting for overseas multi-currency. The Salvation Army in Jamaica, they have their headquarters is in charge of the entire Salvation Army Caribbean. So in South America, in Guyana, Suriname, French Guyana, all of the Caribbean, and then Belize in Central
Central
America.
America. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of currencies moving back and forth, and I was in charge of that. And then I became the chief accountant for the department,
Mm-hmm.
and then became the territorial finance administrator. So I was in charge of the entire finances for the Salvation Army Caribbean territory. Um, and
That's a big deal.
that required me. Yeah, it's all right. So I traveled a lot during that period of time.
Mm-hmm.
So I was doing a lot of traveling, and during that time I got married and
Bless your
got
heart.
a got a firstborn. Um, and to be honest with you, I started to be very uncomfortable about traveling. Leaving my wife by herself, and then once my son was born, that it just wasn't going to work anymore.
Mm.
The Salvation Army at this same time was building this center in South Central in South LA,
Yeah.
and they were looking for someone that had a business background. It was going to be brand new and literally from the ground up in terms of there was nothing all that was there was just beautiful building with nice equipment, but then program had to get started. And
Right.
community relationships had to be built. So, um, I took up the task and moved my entire family from Jamaica to Los Angeles,
Mm.
um, and took on this challenge. So that's the short version.
The abridged version.
Yes, abridged, very abridged.
Now, you mentioned
Yeah.
your parents being pastors in the Salvation Army.
Hmm.
The regular listeners would know that my grandmother and my mother made a lot of the uniforms for everybody in the Caribbean.
Yes.
Just about.
Yes.
Um, so, it's not that you and I are by any means strangers. People who listen to me all the time should put that together by now. Um, by no stretch of the imagination are we strangers,
No, I'm leaving you to say it though.
right?
We're definitely not strangers.
Um, and so you mentioned your parents being pastors and
Hmm.
seeing seeing them operate in the Salvation Army. If there's anything that people know about the Salvation Army anywhere in the world, is that the Salvation Army helps people. People in the
Yeah.
Salvation Army have a tendency to give. You mentioned the experience of seeing your father give the shirt off his back. Immediately, I started wondering, was that one of the shirts that my grandmother had made for him? Uh, but
uh,
I couldn't help but wonder. But in that, I I can see where your heart is, because if this is what you have grown up with, this is what you know, and so you know your parents to be givers. Is that where you get your heart for the community from?
oh, no question. My no question. My what I know today is what I saw and witnessed, and that's the only way I know how to do it. The only way I know how to live is to actually be able is to help others.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's what I know. It's the only way to actually live. You don't. It's not about you. It's about others. I've I have seen. I've had the privilege. I see the privilege to travel to quite a few different places and countries.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know, maybe about 12 or so different countries at this time. And I always say to people, I have seen the best of living around the world. Even right here in LA.
Right.
I've also seen the worst of living. Um, you know, I've I've been in I've been in tough neighborhoods in Haiti, in Port-au-Prince. I've been in townships in South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I've stood in the living rooms of homes in Beverly Hills, California. You know,
Right.
um, I have seen both sides of the coin. And one interesting things about that is this: here in the United States, for example, the Salvation Army serves in every zip code in the United States. Every zip code.
Every.
So include every zip code, every zip code in Alaska, every zip code in Hawaii. The Salvation Army is in Guam. You know, every zip code in the United States. Um, and in all of those, the key thing that keeps happening is where those who are there, not only those who are working for the Salvation Army, by the way, but
Mm-hmm.
I got to make sure I say this: those who are volunteering their time, They're giving back. They're giving back. They're giving back. And I always say to people, just try it. Because what you're going to really figure out, 10, 15 minutes in, is that you will be positively affected as much as the person you're helping.
Yeah.
Man, there is nothing like helping other people.
Yep.
And if someone hasn't done that, I'm telling you, you got to give it a try.
Studies have
Helping other
actually
people,
shown that there's the reward center of the brain, excuse me, is activated when you give, and when you volunteer, you're actively giving and you're consciously giving, and so you get that feeling of reward. You get that positive feeling just because you've done it. Having grown up in the Salvation Army myself, I can remember many an Easter, a Christmas, where with being a musician, playing in the band, we have to go to children homes and nursing homes and prisons and hospitals. And there are times when I was like, geez, I don't want to do this. I could be home eating some rice and peas and chicken and watching the football game, soccer for those in the US. And but I'm out here doing this. And looking back, it was one of the most rewarding times of my life.
Oh yeah, actually, interesting you say that because I think a life changing it for me was a turning point. Would have been at one point my parents were for just 2 years they were the administrators of a children's home, an orphanage,
Mm-hmm.
and to be I confess to you right now that when they were going there, I didn't want to go. I was
Mm.
I didn't want to leave my friends. I just did not want to go. I had no interest in going.
Right.
But that was a turning point for me. I've made some lifelong friends there. I life became a lot clearer as what life was about. I
Mm.
realized I was complaining about some of the most ridiculous things because
Mm-hmm.
my friends became people who didn't know their parents. My friends would have been someone. I'm not going to call names, of course, but I ended up spending a couple of years hanging out with people who were found in cane fields as a baby.
Mm-hmm.
A young lady who was in a shopping bag, a grocery bag, that was found in a grocery bag, a baby, and she's an attorney today.
Yeah.
So there is just, but that's when I realized that life is not all about me. And at that point, I was a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really a turning point in my life where I saw things a little bit differently. So that experience, I really encourage people, give back in your community, volunteer somewhere, be on an advisory council, or some kind of committee, mentor a kid, help a senior, anything like that. You are not only affecting the life of that person that you're helping, but you'd be amazed what it does to you.
You're right.
And then you'd be amazed if you are a parent or an uncle or an aunt that the younger ones who are looking up to you are going, wow, I want to do that to you.
Yeah.
And then you might just start something. You might just start doing something. Some tradition in your family might just be born out of you doing that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know people who are generational volunteers.
Oh, I know some too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you talk to them, you ask, why are you doing this? I see you come here every year. Well, one of the things, one of the volunteers that I would see when I was out in Palm Beach, I was working up there. They were like, yeah, I come because my parents used to do this. And as a
Mm-hmm.
child, I used to go with them as they did this. And I stopped at one point, but now it feels like something is missing when this time of year rolls around and I don't come out and do this. And I was like, yep, there it is. So yeah, I get it. Well, of course I get it, but for anybody listening and wondering, just to piggyback on what Mortimer is saying, do it. You you'll get a reward like none other. This is the kind of reward that you can't put a price tag on. It's that experience. It's that kind of experience. So that really now paints a little bit of a picture, Mortimer, with you and the center, because you have that passion, that yearning to help already ingrained in you. So,
Well, listen. So I always share my stuff. I said, if this is a job,
mm-hmm.
you will fail at it. You
Mm,
have to be passionate about doing this kind of. If you show up every day and this is your job,
yes.
then you will fail. What we do, you need to be passionate about it because there will be tough times, and during those tough times, you still want to help people. If you're having a tough time and it's your job, but then someone walks in that day and and they're really struggling in life,
Mm-hmm.
and they meet you, can you imagine the impression that you will leave on them if this is just your job?
Yeah.
So you have to be passionate about doing it. And you usually find that people who do this kind of thing, oh, they're passionate about it.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's very true. Unfortunately, sometimes there's politics that would get involved and taint the passion. But when you have good leadership, you don't really feel it. You don't really have that experience.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
What's happening in the stew pot? Because I'm not, I mean,
Oh,
I was hoping I would get some difficult questions from the stew pot.
the people in the pot are quite from based on what I'm seeing, seem to be quite pleased with what they've been hearing. More of these centers need to be in the low income communities. There are definitely more of these centers that are needed. Um, this is a sign of a true leader. He won't expect his staff to do what he is not willing to do. Talking about you getting it very involved with the activities in the center. And when I showed that picture of you unloading that truck, helping to unload that truck, so the Potters are quite happy with you right now. you know,
The potters.
yeah, the Stew Potters. They're
Okay.
based on the responses. As I interpret it, they're very happy with hearing what they're hearing, and I would go as far as to say possibly inspired to.
Well, the truth, to respond to that thing about someone made that statement about there should be more of these community centers.
Mm-hmm.
I sometimes have a sneaky feeling that they're there.
It's just that they don't get the
But
exposure.
they don't get the exposure.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I
some
worked
of
in
them are
one.
there. Matter of fact, some of them are underutilized because they're
Yes.
not known that they're there. But you know, there are organizations who are putting a significant amount of money into having these facilities um, in the community. It's just that a lot of people don't know that they're there. Now there are different sizes and different, they do different services,
Mm-hmm.
but many of them are similar. Um, Many of them are. I know for sure I'm not the only one doing this kind of thing.
Right.
or the Siemon Center is not the only one doing this kind of thing in around the United States.
Now, one of the interesting things that about the Salvation Army is that a lot of their facilities are in what would be considered the worst parts of the community.
Hmm.
There's another comment in the stew pot. Some of them are severely underfunded. I was going to
Very true.
make mention to that too. Resources, both human and financial resources, are at a premium with a lot of these facilities. They don't get the funding that they need to provide the services that the community needs. I really think that your center is quite blessed to have some of the partners that it has. And as a result, the community is benefiting greatly from it. Because,
That's true.
yeah,
I mean, that's a very that statement made by your Potter. I'm getting you right. Your Potter,
mm-hmm,
one of the Potters, but yeah, that's a spot on statement. Um, funding funding many of these community centers are quite challenging. You know, I would say that in the nonprofit world, we have what we refer to as gift in kind.
mm-hmm,
And in nonprofit accounting, there's a gift in kind, and that's when someone is giving you a donation that is not monetary. It's not money. It's something physical that you can touch. Could be
right,
it could be computers.
mm-hmm,
Um, I think a lot of times what some community centers do is make the mistake and put a significant amount of energy into trying to get cash. Now, cash is important. You got to keep
yeah,
the lights on. You got to pay the bills. You have to do those things. But also, gifting kind is a massive one. I mean, I've benefited a lot from that. You know, and my gym was renovated about a year and a half ago by Microsoft, by Xbox.
mm,
And the while they were renovating the gym, they gave me a team room. So they renovated one of my rooms and created a whole team space for
right,
my team. Um, that's a $75,000 gift.
mm,
There's no way I would have found $75,000 to give on my own. But they brought in all the people, the contractors, the whole thing, and gave us a brand new facility. And not only did they do that, they just didn't build it and walk away. They started to fund our league in the gym.
nice,
So they took care of jerseys and ref fees and trophy costs and all the stuff that goes with having league. So they didn't just do it and walk away and disappear.
right,
They paid for a year of coding classes to teach kids coding. And the reason for that was because one of the co-sponsors was 2K Foundation,
mm,
who makes NBA 2K
there you go,
basketball, the video game.
right,
So it's a no-brainer to then teach kids to code and to
mm-hmm,
write their own games and to make their own apps for smartphones and tablets. So I think sometimes we focus a lot on trying to get all the cash we can, but
right,
there's also sometimes people are more easily able to give you gifting time. Renovate specific things, or give you computers, give you art supplies, give you sporting supplies, that kind of thing.
give you back to school supplies,
Back to school supplies. I have someone that I work with, and we do a back to school event. We actually do a back to school event with 2,000 kids every
which
year.
which would explain all these book bags in this gym. Now I have a
Oh,
picture up right now
uh-huh.
that would it just I don't know if people get the grasp of the number of book bags So there's this red line, red border that runs around the gym, right? On the gym wall.
Yeah.
About how high is that line, that strip?
Oh man. What deal, man.
It, run
If you're
about
trying to get,
run about eight
if you're
feet.
trying to think, yeah, yeah.
Right. So this pile of book bags here would be round about 6 feet high.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
just to give an idea for those looking on at this image, just to give an idea, you mentioned 2,000 children getting
Yeah.
getting supplies. This picture here is putting is adding to the words that Mortimer is using right now.
Yeah, so we have what we call a Tools for School event,
Yeah.
and everyone is pre-registered, and so on that day they come, they have a barcoded ticket, and that barcoded ticket we scan it at the door, and it brings up on the screen everything about that child. So we know how many people are in the family, we know sizes, we know that kind of thing, so that when they come in, they can grab their bag with their backpack. Um, each family gets um, a bag of canned goods, a bag of dry goods like cereal and peanut butter and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Receive a bag of fruits and veggies. They receive brand new clothing to take with them. They receive spaghetti meals for everyone in the family. And you can't finish without not having ice cone, icy truck in the parking lot so they can get icicles.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Mm.
a fun day.
Mm.
That way, we love that we're able to give back in that respect, and we have a donor that covers the cost of that entire event. We're
See,
very blessed
th-
to have people come alongside us to provide those services.
and it is not the the center per se that is getting these things. It is the community which the center services. There are a lot of people that talk about organizations that get these donations, and the organization is benefiting from it. Right now, I can tell you, this is not one of those right that we have on this show right now. The things that
Oh no,
come into the center go out to the community.
oh
And
guaranteed, guaranteed. Our toy giveaway,
mm-hmm.
we have multiple events during the holidays.
Right,
Um, our toy giveaway, we turn our gym into a toy store,
right.
and we do 12,000 toys for the community,
That's a lot of
including
toys.
stocking stuffers. Oh, that's a lot of toys. That's a
That's
lot of toys.
that's a lot of man hours.
We do 200 volunteers to
Jeez.
pull that off. Yeah, to pull that off. 200 volunteers.
And I suspect that the tools for what
Oh,
did you call it? Tools for schools.
Tools for schools is 120 volunteers.
Right, and because you mentioned that all of those kids are pre-registered.
Yeah,
Just the registration
and the same
alone
with
is
yeah. So go ahead.
I'm just wrapping my mind around it. You have to explain it.
Yeah, I mean we start our Christmas registration starts the end of October, first week in November. We start registering. We have multiple events during the holidays. We have a adopt a family event where the LA Clippers adopt roughly 40, 45 families, and we about 40 families,
Mm.
and we actually have a full sit-down dinner for those families, and the players come and dine with the with the families,
Nice.
and they
Nice.
receive a lot of the stuff that they have on their wish list. The Clippers will buy them for them, and it's a beautiful event. Last year we actually added an additional component where we turned the adjoining room that they were having dinner. We turned the adjoining room into a shoe store, and so once they had dinner and they were able to get their gifts and everything, they then walked over into the shoe store and were able to pick shoes out as is for free, brand new, really nice shoes that any of us would want to wear, that they get to take home.
Wow. Now,
Yeah, so
how could you not want to support an organization like this? You know, when you're giving, and this is why I can see the organization growing continuously, because people are benefiting. And it's not to say that it's all about handouts. No, they're benefiting in more ways than that, because that pair of shoes is that pair of shoes that will be taking them to school, or to that tryout for them to get that scholarship to go to school, or to go to that function, that and you're talking about shoes for kids up to what age?
all ages. We these are shoes for kids. Well, this particular event we're doing shoes for kids and parents.
And parents. So now
Yeah, we're doing shoes.
the parents can get shoes to wear to that job interview or to go to work.
Yeah, or how about the kid? How about the kid that now has a little bit more self-esteem because he's not
Yes.
being made fun of anymore?
Yes.
How about the kid that now walks with confidence? So yeah, sometimes we as humans, we just have this way of we criticize and go, oh man, you should maybe go out and work for it. And I always would say to people like that, until you have oh, no pun intended, what I'm about to say, but until you walk in their shoes,
Right.
until you walk in their shoes, we're in no position to criticize. And believe me when I say, listen, this is what I say. One of the biggest struggles you have in a state like California is that California, we know, has the sixth largest budget in the world. It
Mm.
has some of the richest people in the world.
Yeah.
But the reality is that there are going to be people who are still in the struggle
Right.
financially,
Right.
for various reasons. And some of those reasons have nothing to do with being lazy or being, it's to understand the dynamics involved here. I could easily link this back to what we're dealing with right now, but I'm not going to go there. But there's a lot that our families um, go through or have to deal with. Many cases we have kids who come into the center. We call latchkey kids. Their keys are on their neck.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They when they get up to go to work, go to school in the morning, mom and dad's already left because they're trying to they're out there working.
Right.
When they get home from school or from after school programs, mom and dad is still at work.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd be surprised. I know some of these parents personally that are just hard-working people, but they just need that support until they can get out of it. And
Right.
believe me, we know of those cases where families move on and they come back and visit us. These are families who will bake a cake and bring it by just to say thank you. Or you give them something that is to us pointless, and they will just break down in tears because they're so grateful
Mm-hmm.
for it. Um, so,
Do any of them come
you
back
know,
and volunteer themselves?
they ask to volunteer all the time.
They ask.
A lot of families, yes, yes, they
Wow.
ask to volunteer all the time.
Mm.
that's that's a very common thing. Yes, we do have families who ask to volunteer all the time. Listen, we've had families during COVID-19 that we serve. Their kids come to our after school program, and
Mm-hmm.
we have had parents come by the center with a box of donuts just to give us.
Right.
Hey, I just thought I'd buy you guys breakfast. I know you're working hard. Thanks. These are parents who they don't have it themselves, but yet they're still finding a little bit to buy some donuts to come and give us because we know develop that relationship.
Right.
We are part of their family. We are making an impact on their kid, maybe through helping them with homework or tutoring them in math or English.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, many of our families is not just a handout. We are really just trying to fill a gap and feel you can do better. I should let you know the reason for our toy giveaway, for our adoptive families, for back to school events. Our caseworker meets with every single family. So we're sitting and doing an intake. We know their story. So
Mm.
it is not a case where anyone can walk off the street and get these programs. I got to tell you that there are quite a few families every year that do not qualify for certain things because we will make sure that we find those that need it the most.
Right.
And that's the reason why we spend the time to do an intake on every individual family.
Yeah. That's some work, and you're right. If you don't have the passion, that will seem like a lot of work, and that you will be overwhelmed.
Oh, guaranteed. Yes, guaranteed.
One of the one of the things that you guys have also done um, is have healthcare screenings.
Yeah, yeah.
Give us a little
Yeah,
bit. Tell us a little bit about that, because
well, that's important in our community. You got to remember now that we are in a community here. I mean, medical insurance is like, well, medical insurance for anyone is gold,
yeah.
but, medical insurance is just impossible for some.
Mm-hmm.
And so we work with an organization that comes in, and there is there is a cost for some depending on how much you earn, but the most you pay, I believe, but it varies. It varies in cost, but most people, it's free. Um, but we are basically doing from, um, from your high blood pressure to cholesterol to glucose levels. Um, they actually even check to see. There's some very extensive tests that they do where they're actually looking for any blockage in arteries. They literally bring all this equipment in. And again,
I have a
I mean,
picture up right now.
our gym changes to all sorts of stuff, but we literally have a mini clinic that goes on. They bring this equipment in and they do a various kind of tests. And you'd be surprised with people who are just coming in because that's the only way that they're going to know. And the thing about this test, though, is that these are tests that some of them that even those with insurance wouldn't do.
Really?
And what's yeah, because these are tests that will say, hey, do you know that you have this happening to you, or do you know that you have a trait that you have the potential to be ill with specific illnesses. They do a wide range, so there are different levels that you can register for, and that's when that's when you can pay. So there's some that are quite extensive in the test. The most expensive test is like $150, and it does a range of stuff.
No.
You literally,
that $150 test that is done through the
Hmm.
center costs how much in outside of the center, and you go to a doctor's office?
So I do know that the organization that we work with, they do have like the true cost for some of this stuff, and the highest one I have seen there is 400 and something dollars. So just over $400 service, they're charging 150.
That's a big
So
deal.
you're talking about like a 70% discount in some cases.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, you find people from all walks of life, even those that don't regularly use the center, would come in and capitalize on that service.
Yeah, actually, I would say that for the most part, the people who come to that are people who do not come for any other service. Even though it's advertised and marketed around the facility and on social media,
Right.
um, there's a whole group that we find most times the people who come for that are seniors.
Mm.
Most of the people who take advantage of that program are seniors. I mean, can you imagine being retired? You just can't make it to the doctor,
Yeah.
you know. So these opportunities like this, give them people the opportunity to actually come in and provide a service to a demographic that many times people forget, or seniors.
Now,
They forget that they're here.
what do you say to the members of the community that when these services are offered, that their pride, when their pride gets in the way? Because there are some people that would say, these people are offering this thing, they're giving us these groceries. They are giving us it must be old stale groceries. They're giving us these medical services. It must be some quack doctor that can get any real clients, any real patients. The naysayers and the ones that are prideful and say, boy, I'm not going down there. I don't want anybody to see me going down there to get this. But they will, like we would say, cut off their noses to spite their faces and go into the medical facility where they have to be paying 3 times as much to get the same service.
Uh,
What do you say
I
to
don't know.
those people? Because we know you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force them to drink. But you have this
That's true.
service. You have this available to you in the community, and you don't even have to be the most destitute to get some of these services. Some
Well,
of
when
the
it
some of
comes
the
to
things that
things
you're
like
offering is
food and yeah, when it comes to food and groceries and stuff like that, I can tell you right now, Kevin, that we are not struggling to give those things away. You know, we
right, right.
we're not we're not struggling. Now, let us use COVID-19 for example.
Yeah.
Our building takes a block,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's literally from one street to the other, and we COVID-19 we can have a line that goes out, parking lot goes around the building, it goes around onto the. I mean, we have a lot of people who will come in for those services. I mean, we have had days where the lowest we've done is about 400 grocery bags in a day. The highest we've done about 1,200 grocery bags per day.
Mm.
So I'm not sure we're struggling to,
To
in
service the
in this
community.
respect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the medical part of it is that unfortunately, our minority still take, their health for granted.
Yeah.
It's not something that is high on their priority list. Ah, I'm fine.
Right.
Many of us don't make it to the doctor until we're like we can barely walk. So one of the
Yeah.
things that many people in our minority communities haven't done well is preventative health care. We're not good at that, and that's what we are offering. We're offering where you can find and identify the problem and beat it before it becomes a bigger problem. And we're just not good at that kind of thing. So it will take some time,
Mm-hmm.
education, education, education.
Right,
One
right,
thing that we do with the younger kids is that no, I mean, kids that are coming from other programs, we teach them that kind of stuff.
right.
We work with a regional food bank, and they bring in their nutritionists, and we actually show the kids how much sugar they're drinking in sodas, how much sugar they're intaking
Mm,
in a cupcake, that kind of thing.
yeah,
So we might not have been able to influence the older generation right now, but you better believe we're going after the younger generation.
right.
And I tell you one thing too: this country, this country is going to be amazing. There's a generation that is coming up. I'm telling you, if you're not ready for them, look out,
Yeah.
look out. They're smart. They're they're very informed.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm super pumped about
They don't back
the
down
future
from
for.
anything.
No, believe me, I have a 15-year-old daughter.
Mm-hmm.
No, they don't back down. At some point, Kevin, you should let them know that my 15-year-old daughter is your niece.
At
So
some point, I should let them know.
let your
um,
listeners know.
no, no, isn't a bad time. That
No,
that
no,
everybody has paid attention to what you're saying. To let them know that you are my brother-in-law. Um,
I am.
and it's not the reason why you are on this show at all. I could have had you on this show a long time ago. We've talked about it many times.
Hmm.
But I really felt this time to be very important in because of what you have been doing and what you have done over this time. And I know you're not going to say, yeah, it's all you. And I know that that would be genuine also. But of course, I'm happy to leave it to the end to say yes, that very headstrong 15-year-old young lady is my niece, and I'm proud of her to the ground and below. It it it, it I cannot be any more proud, and my very tall nephew.
Yes.
I had to drop my voice for that one too.
Yes, he does have a deep voice too.
Yeah. Well, just to let you know, I called Nathan. I spoke to Nathaniel this afternoon, and when he said,
Hmm.
"Hi, Dad," I was like, "Who did I call?"
That's what life is, man.
Yeah. So
Embrace them and love them when they're young, because hey, when you grow up,
right.
a little different. Yeah.
But Mortimer, I do want to tip my hat to you for the service that you have been providing to the community and for extending information to the wider community of the services that are available through community centers, not just yours, but others like yours. But for anybody who is in the South LA area that want to pop into a facility, especially when all this craziness goes away and and programs start running again, to go visit, go down to South Central Avenue, just
Yeah,
there.
you speak about that. We try to let you know we're right now providing um, daycare for essential workers. So
Oh,
essential workers
nice.
can actually, yeah, yeah. So we didn't really stop. We just kept doing things and we adjust it. And that's what we are. I mean, we provide what the community needs. And I'm
Yeah.
going to give them stuff that we think they need. We will give them things that we see that they need or they're asking for.
Right. Now, social media connection. How can people connect with you? Give us some details.
Yeah, so social media is we're on Facebook. Um, it's actually the Siemon Center. It sounds a bit weird,
Yeah.
really weird, but it's Siemon. Um, Siemon Center, Center. So that's on Facebook, and that's the same thing for Instagram at
Hmm.
Siemon Center, Siemon. Instagram, we do not have a Twitter page. Our website is SiemonCenter.org, and our website has, you know, it's basically where we have you can register for specific classes, so you can do a lot of that stuff online. We're
Including yoga.
very, oh yeah, oh yeah, we're very. Right now, everything is like on pause for the most part in terms of those activities.
Yeah.
But you can get like a day pass, memberships, any of that stuff. Register for summer camps or day camps. All the stuff you can do from our website. You can even make a donation from our website. You can register to volunteer from our website.
Hmm.
So, SiemonCenter.org or on Facebook, SiemonCenter. That's on Facebook. Same thing for Instagram. So it's consistent throughout.
Right.
Once you get it the first time, you can find us on those two social media platforms and also on our website, on our webpage.
Now, don't think that because we mentioned the partners that have been helping out with the programs, don't think that your contribution is not needed. Far from it. There, there are many families that are serviced. And if there's one thing that we know, every little bit counts. So
Oh, yeah.
even the organizations that are giving a lot, you have $1, your $1 is actually put to use.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so the only reason why organizations are able to give that much is actually because of the grassroots. Man, that donor, it's not the big ones, it's the small donors.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no question. If you ever think that is the big donors that we pull this off, it's the little ones. You putting that $1 in, that
Mm-hmm.
$5 in, those are the ones that add up.
Yeah.
And that's how we're able to send kids to summer camps. That's how we're able to have, mentorship programs. That's why we're able to do some of that stuff. Is because of people like you, people like your listeners, who are actually giving of their time and giving of their money. That's the only way we pull this off every single day.
Yep. Listen. Keep
And if
doing.
they're ever in LA,
Mm-hmm.
come by and visit. If
Well,
you're ever in Los Angeles,
can I tell you?
I will
It,
personally give that tour.
it was on my list of things to do for this year. And
You're gonna blame it on COVID, huh?
I don't know what is going to happen at this point. The end of the year is still 6 months away. So
Still is.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
But
next week is your nephew's birthday, so you just never know.
yeah, there's a lot of things happening in this month. His birthday, your anniversary.
Yeah, well, my anniversary is in July, but people don't give him a
Which
hard
month are we
time.
in? June. Oh,
We're
yeah.
in June.
My bad. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, round about this time. Come actually from now to the end, come down to the rest of the year. It's just things happening. It's
It is.
birthday, anniversary, birthday. Oh, Lord have mercy. We'll work it out. But thank you for taking the time out to educate us on the Siemon Center and what it has been doing and continues to do. And those pictures that I put up, ladies and gentlemen, you can see those and a whole lot more. I just picked out a few. What the Stu Potter is saying, he'll be there. I'll make sure of it.
I
I love it.
I can't help. I can't come off of this call by saying, for those. First of all, just thanks for having me. But I just can't help but do this because I'm brainwashed to do this kind of stuff.
Okay.
So, if by any chance I have a fellow Wilmerian listening, big up to all the Wilmerians. I just have to put that in. Just have to put that in. As a Wilmot boy, I just have to always highlight my fellow Wilmerians. Boys and girls.
I'm surprised you didn't mention it when you were talking about growing up in Jamaica.
I was trying not to, but I just couldn't help it.
Mortimer Jones, thank you very much, sir. Truly appreciative of your brother. Say good night to the family for me.
I will. Thanks for having me again. I appreciate it.
I'm kind of surprised. My niece isn't in the stew pot herself. A little bit surprised.
Yeah, I'm surprised. That's actually surprising.
But strange things happen every now and then.
Yeah, I think the last time I saw her, she was working on an assignment. So.
Okay.
It's possible that she's still doing that. Yeah.
Let me just go ahead and put up this picture one more time of the Siemon Center. It is the Siemon Family, Youth and Community Center. And listen, I remember at one point I did one of those Google Earth, and I looked at the center and the area that it covers. This is a big place. It's a big facility, and you have a big job, and you have done it well over these 17 years.
Man, 17 years. Wow. Yeah, thank you so much.
It's so funny. I've seen you put on weight and lose weight and get gray hairs.
Seriously.
But I have a special song to play for you and the staff at the center, and for people like you. This is a song that was literally just released done by Gramps Morgan, and the writer of the song also did a version of the song for people in Nova Scotia. Johnny Reed is his name, and he actually had Gramps Morgan, I don't know the details of it, but he himself gives tribute to or kudos to Gramps Morgan for doing an arrangement of it. The track is called People Like You. And it's people like you, Mortimer, that make a difference in our communities, that help to build strong communities. And I last week I said it, I started saying it by social media. Let's go ahead and I didn't even ask you about the mural on the side of the building. Somebody just commented and said it's very eye-catching and it stands out.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a whole story behind that mural.
Right. And we didn't even get to talk about the story behind that. I don't know if you can do a really short version of it.
No, I mean the truth is that the building was there, but you know we needed a way of letting people know what we had inside the building.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually did that. But by doing that, interestingly enough, when I came, the building was all locked up. No one was hired as yet, and there was just tagging. There was just graffiti on the entire building.
Right.
It was the craziest thing. But of course, no one knew what was inside. Once we started to bring people inside the building, and we put that mural on the outside of that building, you better believe it, but no one touches that building now. No one tags that mural.
Mm.
It's been sitting out there for years, and there's just this mutual respect for the Salvation Army and what it's doing in South LA, and the community just takes care of it.
Yeah. Got to love it. Got to love it. See, you do good in the community, and the community does good to and for you.
Oh, guaranteed.
Listen.
Definitely. And again, I can connect that to what's happening now, but I'm not
Yeah.
going to go there. But
This song is for you guys as I do a brief moment of musical therapy. It's Gramps Morgan, People Like You. Catch you later, Mortimer.
yes,
We'll talk.
Frederick. Talk to you soon. All right.
All right.
If you give a little more than you take, and if you try to fix more than you break, if you're the kind who takes the time to help a stranger in the rain, there's a place for people like you. If you stand up for those down on their knees and lend a voice to those who cannot speak, if you shine a little light, give sight to the ones who've lost their way, there's a place for people like you. I've heard that the streets are made of gold, and when you get there, there's a hand to hold. I believe when your days down here are through, there's a place up there for people like you. If you walk around with your heart on your sleeve, and if you're trying to be the change you wanna see, if you lay down your life for love so someone could be saved, there's a place for people like you. I've heard that the streets are made of gold, and when you get there, there's a hand to hold.
Thank you, 1624.
I believe when your days down here are through, there's a place out there for people like you.
people like you.
When your days down here are through,
I know you're out
there's definitely a place for people like you. People like the ones who take that time out to help that person
for people
that needs just that little bit of help, that needs that encouraging word, that needs that thing, whatever that thing may be.
One people we are.
Yeah, out of many, one people we are. So in light of what is going on around us, we need to remember that little piece. Out of many, one people we are.
I love reggae music, yeah.
Yeah, Gramps Morgan did dedicate the song himself to Bobby Digital and to his uncle that recently passed. Thank you, Marlon.
This is a vibe with a message.
From the father to the son, this is Jamari Morgan
Kick them in them face with the
talking about the movers and the shakers,
calling on soldiers, yeah.
working out with J Boog.
Calling on youths,
Track is called Shakers and Movers.
yeah. Water down the roots, the fruits will come after. If you rush, then you're doomed for disaster. There's a mission, this is the road call. Now let's see what the rebels will stand for. Calling on soldiers, yeah. Calling on youths, shakers and movers,
Let it move, gotta feel it in your feet, feet. Do the message, turn it up, let it beat, beat. Break it down in walls. Jimmy, we're gonna let you know. Yeah, let it move, gotta feel it in your feet, feet. Do the message, turn it up, let it beat, beat. Break it down in walls. Gotta stand, gotta let you know. Yes, when we come stepping, baby, we stepping light. Jah provide up, you ready? Come feel it. Every step we make it quake, the earth shake, the ground break, the new beginning. Steady moving, moving, moving.
calling on soldiers, yeah. Calling on youths, shakers and movers, yeah. Unity alone can keep us together. Every weight me no like feather. Read with love when you link with your brother. Me no care if I might like cheddar. Move up if you come with bad vibes. Never want nothing that was never mine. Work together all the time. Remember too hard, nigga, make a perfect time. I want you close your eyes for a second. It's just a vibe with a message. Reggae music, yeah. Reggae music, yeah, yeah. Calling on soldiers, calling on soldiers. Reggae music, on youths, shakers and movers, yeah. It's time to recruit, calling on soldiers, yeah. Calling on youths, shakers and movers, yeah. It's time to recruit, calling on soldiers, calling on youths, shakers and movers, yeah. Only be with one love, one destiny. Won't let my enemy get to me. One love goes out to everyone. Reggae music, we all love,
See, the apple never falls far from the tree, you know.
we all have one. We all have one. We all have one. Reggae
So of Jamari Morgan working out with J Boog. It's called Shakers and Movers. This is how we close out the night, giving glory to the Most High. This is Shauna Dazzle. It's called Glorious.
I will bless the Lord at all times. I will praise. When I think of all the good He's done and consider His ways, mercy's pouring down like rain, and I'm flooded by grace.
because of any good I've done. His love remains the same. So I say, may the whole world see the light. May they come to testify. May they know the power and might of your glorious name. May the whole world see the light. May they come to testify. May they know the power and might of your glorious name. I cannot believe your name. I cannot but give you praise. I know where I could be now, so I stand unashamed. God, you've never let me down in spite of even me. And you prove yourself faithful, you reign in majesty. So I
want to say thank you to each and everyone for tuning in.
the whole world see the light. May
Thank you for sharing.
to testify. May they know the
I'll catch you all later on when we do Healthy Love
name.
right here at kevinstew.com,
The whole world
10 to midnight Eastern time.
may they come to testify. May they know the
But until then, good morning, good afternoon, good day to you wherever you are in the world, from right here in South Florida. Good night.
Got my list, cannot remember how you saved my son and protected my unborn child from the bullets of the gun. Remember how you gave me faith when my strength was less than great. You know, God, you were never late. God, I know you're on my side. You have shown up every time, my God. So I had to pen this tune, 'cause where would I be without you? Hey, may the whole world see the light. May they come
Greetings and
to
salutations, one and all. You're invited to tune in to the Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew. It airs on Mondays with Community and Finance, Tuesdays with Healthy Love, and Wednesdays with Real Talk from 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time. Come spend some time interacting in the stew pot where we keep things bubbling and wind down in musical therapy. The Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew is on kevinstew.com, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment.